Hello and welcome to season 2 of Between Sundays. Super excited to have you guys here. My name is Theo. I've got with me my awesome co-host.
Yeah, guest, whatever.
Maxie.
Hey, everybody.
And we have with us a friend, Steve.
Hey, everyone. How you going?
Thank you for being here. First, we just gotta. Where are you from, Steve?
I'm from a little place called Wangaratta, which is in regional Victoria in Australia. I got to know Mike and Tina a number of years ago when a team of your people came out, I guess, and blessed us, and ended up pastoring my own church down in regional Victoria. I'm about 3 hours north of Melbourne in a little rural, I guess, regional community.
Nice.
And just over here for a conference and just wanted to pop in and see what you're doing and learn, and it's been awesome.
And it's your first time here, right? It's first time in the U.S.?
First time in the U.S., yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. How are you liking it so far?
Loving it.
Good.
Loving it.
Good.
It's a little cooler than home at the moment. It's pretty hot in Australia at the moment, and it's pretty cool here. So, yeah.
Well, it's cool to have you here, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
We're super excited to dive into a conversation here today. But before we do that, let me just explain. Season 2 is a little bit different than Season 1. Max, let us know how.
Yeah, so a couple things. One, we're doing this Am I Wrong Though segment, and we've been having so much fun hearing these stories, getting to react to things in real time. So we need your help though. We want you to submit your stories as well so we can continue reading them out loud here. Maybe there's a question that you've been thinking about and we'll fit into one of our episodes. So if you want to do that, all you need to do is email us at betweensundays@newlife.live. If you're listening to this on your phone and you have your podcast, you can leave us a review, but there's also a space now that you can actually send us fan mail. So you can hit that little button and you can put your question right in there too. We'll get it either way.
Cool. Speaking of reviews, I've got one here from Monique Shan, and she said, the episodes touch on real issues, problems, and concerns in life, not just in relationships, but even personal things that you keep to yourself. I highly encourage you to start from the beginning, even the ones you disagree with or don't think you'll like. It may surprise you, not only in your life here on earth, but also in your walk with Christ. The hosts and speakers are awesome, and they aren't afraid to speak their truth. So, look, we'd love to hear from y'all. We love stuff like this, so contact us.
Thanks, Moni.
Today, we're going to be having a really fun conversation on love languages and apology languages. So, let's talk about it. Living between Sundays. All right. So, full disclosure here. I had not heard about apology languages until a few weeks ago when you brought it up.
Yeah.
I think we were talking about this idea of, February and love and all this kind of stuff. We're like, okay, well, let's talk about love languages. Let's just really hit it hard. And then you said, Maxine, well, we got to talk about apology languages. And I was like, oh, what? You were like, apology languages. And this, I found videos from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Dr. Gary Chapman.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
The
same guy who did love languages did the apology languages. I'd never heard of it. So I'm excited to dive into this conversation because I have maybe an unpopular opinion on the apology languages. But
now I want to hear it. You make us wait. I want to hear. What is it?
Okay. I don't think that these are necessarily separate.
Okay.
I think... Okay, so the love languages tells you a little bit of how you receive love and how your partner receives love. And it's like, this is the thing, right? They might like some
and give, both.
What was that?
Receive and give.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like, if your partner receives love with acts of service, right? That's the primary thing that's going to communicate to them. When I go over the apologies languages list, I don't feel it's that cut and dry. I feel it's like, and maybe it's just because my wife is divergent, is what I like to call it. She's all of the things. But I feel like it's not just one of the things. I feel like a genuine apology is a little bit of all of them. Versus the love languages, if I know you're an acts of service person, that's my go-to. I can keep doing that over and over, and it's not going to feel, stale, or because that's the way you receive love.
Yeah.
I feel like the apologies are a little bit different. Yeah. But we'll dive into it when we get there.
I think it may be because you're being greedy and you just want lots of apologetic stuff in your life.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Maybe I'm a little more divergent than I like to think.
Yeah.
But before we really tear into all this, I'd love to know how y'all grew. I said I didn't learn about apology languages until a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But if you had, I'd like to know how and what context it was in, and then also love languages, kind of how you grew up. So I'll start with you, Steve.
Love languages. Yeah, I guess we probably grew up having a loose idea of some of this stuff, and I guess it really fascinates me how there's some love languages that you just sort of tend to rush towards in how you give. And then there's others that people receive, and just that tension about how those things work is really fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm probably just if my wife comes and puts her hand on my shoulder, I feel like I can conquer the world. I just need that physical touch, that not all the other sorts of it. Yeah, absolutely. But just that that presence and encouragement can be a really a real game changer. Yeah. Whereas my kids maybe are probably totally different. Quality time. They just need time. They just need just need me.
Yeah. That's good. It was really interesting, at least for myself, is I've changed a little bit over the years. Now my primary hasn't changed, but some of the secondary, tertiary have like grown. So for instance, physical touch was like neither here nor there. Like it's not like I was like, get off me, don't touch me. But it was like, it was welcome, but not really. Whereas now, if I realize like, she hasn't put her hand on my shoulder in a while. Like we're not even talking about sexual intimacy, just like just touch, right? Yeah. I'm like, why haven't you touched me in a while? Like I start to notice myself getting a little antsy's not the word. Irritable would be it, and it's just like, it's because we haven't held hands in a while. Simple. My primary is still acts of service. That's the one. Don't tell me, show me kind of thing. But so it's really interesting how those things can kind of grow and change for some people.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, so for me, this rocked my world when I learned about it. I was completely, I think I was, it's a Christian book. Y'all all know I got saved later in life. So I learned about this later on as well. And it really had me review all of the relationships that I had previously, not just my, my love relationships, but also family relationships and stuff. And what it did for me actually is it kind of made me go back and recategorize things that I had been like, oh, this person didn't love me because they didn't do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. But then I realized oh, that person was doing this thing though. And that's just the way that they knew how to show it. And so it actually gave me a soft heart for people. Wow. And it gave me a little bit more grace for folks as well. So this was a game changer for me. And then even coming back into, some of you guys know that, I dated my husband in college, right? So we met at 18 years old. And he is so different now. But back then, man of very few words. And so the way that he loved me was not what I needed back then or thought. And so I always had this I don't know if he loves me. But what college boy is doing all the things that he was doing, right? He showed up every single day. He's making the time. He was a football player. He has a million other things to do, but he's making time for me. Of course he does, right? Yeah. But I'm but I want the big da-da-da and, and I want the card that has a whole letter in it. And he's what are you talking about? I'm here, I love you. And I'm I want the card with all the words, So it's funny that looking back then at that myself then, it just kind of even made me see oh, he actually really, really loved me even at 18 years old. And now later on. So when we got back together as adults, I was able to reframe the way that he was moving. And then also explain to him hey, love that you love me the way you do, but it would be so much more effective if you spent time here. And it gave me language to be able to say that, The apology language is something I learned right around the same time because I just, how I do, I go to my deep dives of stuff and it's I did this one and there's oh, there's another test here. Let's look at that. And similarly, this for me helped me to understand why I felt I had some loose ends with folks. And maybe we got over something or we said we did, but there was still these weird lingering feelings or something was going on weird there. Or why when someone said sorry, it didn't really do anything for me. Right? Like it just explained those kinds of things, but it also made me sensitive to how I'm coming across with folks too. And okay, like what is it that I need to do for them to really understand? The big point that I want to put with this is that because I've been on some boards and stuff, and I've seen people like really they don't like the love languages because they read the book through a certain lens, which I think is hard to keep in mind if you don't view relationships, and I'm talking about marriage relationships here, but I guess any relationship, specifically the marriage relationship, in mind of that we're meant to die to ourselves. And so I've read stuff that like, oh, this is like you being subservient to a man and like giving him everything he wants and babying him because you're doing da da da. And I'm like, well, actually, it's a mutual call. Right. And if I'm doing my best to love on my husband the way he needs to be loved, he can do his best to love on me, and we're not like seeking this competition kind of thing, you know? So that's kind of how I view it. I'm really excited to dive into apology language because I know a lot of people probably haven't heard of that. I'm always shocked when people haven't heard of love languages though, but I do run into people who've never heard of it.
I was going to say, so let's take a minute and dive into the love languages, and then we'll spend some time in the apology languages. So just for anyone that is catching up, love languages, you've got words of affirmation. We've got gifts. We've got acts of service, physical touch, quality time. Those are the 5 love languages. Which one we want to dive into first? Which one? Let me ask you. What's yours? I know you said there's a 6th one for you. If you want to share
my
that.
predominant one is food. It does not go into one of these. Theo tried to strong arm me and say that it was gifts.
It's definitely gifts.
But
food
it is
gifts.
above and beyond a gift, food, okay?
Yeah.
But no, so for most of my life, my love language was quality time. Like I realized it, like looking back again, I didn't have this language until I was like 26, but looking back, it was quality time. I was always looking for that undivided sort of attention. And that's kind of how I used to give as well. Like my giving and receiving was the same. Like if I'm with somebody, I'm all in. I'm there 100%. I'm not like trying to check my phone. I'm not trying to whatever. I want you to feel important, and I want to feel important when I'm with you as well. And to the point where all of these other ones, like how you said you had secondary, like I could have gone without all of them just for quality time.
Yeah.
I am a mom of 2 toddlers that I love very, very much. I'm married to an incredible husband. I have an awesome job right now where it's filled with people all day long who I love on, and I get to love and they love me, and it's beautiful, a beautiful life, no complaints. I have no time for myself, 0. So quality time is no longer my love language. And I think this is circumstantial, you know, I think it is just a season that I'm in where like if ever someone would be like, hey, Max, you have a day to yourself. First of all, I don't even know what that would happen.
Yeah, what is that, man?
But I don't know that I would now choose to go and spend it with someone else. I think I would want.
I was literally just having a conversation this morning with someone. They said, how is it that your wife she beat you here with 2 kids? She was like, and you just have to get yourself ready. And I said, well, you got to understand. I said, I don't have any time at the house by myself in quiet. So even if it's just a few minutes in the morning after they leave out the door, and I know I got to leave in a few minutes anyway, but I'm going to take every moment that I can. Because similarly, my wife's a stay-at-home mom. So most times when I'm home, she's home, kids are home, love my family, love and then same thing as you. When I'm here, I'm loving on people. You know, so time to myself is
nice. So what I found though in this season of being a mom and new mom, right? So I have a 3.5-year-old and then a 17-month-old. All of like my negative thoughts have sort of resurfaced, right? Like all of the insecurities that I have, blah, blah, have come into this conversation of me being a mom and not being enough. So my love language, I've realized, has now become words of affirmation, which was never a thing for me because I always have a track on myself to motivate myself. But like the best thing my husband can do for me is like, I see what you did there. Like you did a great job. And like that for me fills me up so much if he notices that. So
that's good.
It's changed.
That's good.
Isn't it interesting how your love languages maybe even just evolves as you grow, as you age, as you walk into different situations, or just if a different job.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm working this job, and I need people. I've got lots of people over here.
Yeah.
And now I need this in terms of a love language, which is it's fascinating.
Yeah. Something that I also find really interesting so it's rare that you end up married to someone with the same love language, right? So you've got to like learn that person's love language. But what's really interesting to me is when your love languages are pitted against each other. And I'll explain to you what I mean. My wife's is words of affirmation, right? Much like you. And that's always been top of her list. Like I said, she loves them all, responds to them all that kind of stuff. Words of affirmation is the biggest one. Mine is acts of service. And so you get both of those in an unhealthy place. And mine is, well, you got to show me something in order for me to feel loved.
Yeah.
And hers is, well, you need to tell me that I'm doing a good job. And mine is, well, you need to show me a job that's worth me. You get what I'm saying? Like, so it's interesting. And it goes back to what you said earlier. When it comes to a godly marriage, it comes down to dying to self.
Yeah.
So even when you don't feel like that person is filling your love tank the way they should be, you've got to be willing to start the process sometimes, right? You got to be willing to start the process anytime is really what it is. But I've always found that interesting of these things that are meant to fill us and make us better in marriage can be, if they're unhealthy, pitted against one another.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah. It's really cool because, I'm watching my girls grow now. And so I find myself thinking about this, like trying to figure out, can I see, even now at this age, like what they're looking for? Because I don't know how true this is because I haven't like studied it deep enough. But like in my own life, I can see where it came from, right? Of like, again, we've talked about childhood wounds in the past and stuff like that. But they say that like your love language comes from whatever you were lacking really on the like growing up or whatever. Don't know if it's true for everybody. But I know for myself, like as a kid, the adults in my life were like not around or very busy when they were. And so like, it's quality time became my thing. And like one of the things, I talked to my mom about this, so hopefully it's fine. But like one of the things that she used to do, I remember, is we didn't hang out a ton together, like, when I was an adult and stuff. But when we did, she'd always come in and be like, oh, I only got an hour because I got to do this thing and that thing and that thing. And like, it would like deflate me immediately. Like, I don't care that you only have an hour. Don't tell me that you have an hour because you have to do, I don't want to hear it. I just be here and just be like, oh, gotta go. And I'm like, I'm totally fine with that. Right. But I'm trying to be mindful as I'm raising my kids to like see what they respond to, because the thing that I found fascinating about this is like, I think he talks about this in the book, if I'm not mistaken, but if you understand your child's love language, you can love them better, right? But also you need to guard against the things that really will cause them damage, right? And so like, this is the story of like, you have two kids, they grew up in the same exact household, but they have completely different traumas. Like, why? And it's like, let's say they both got hit as a kid. Well, your kid whose love language is physical touch, and then it's being met with spanking and hitting, that is going to scar that kid. Whereas your kid whose love language is gifts is not even gonna think twice about it. You can hit the kid and the kid is, what are you talking about? This is a fine house, right? Or the kids who is words of affirmation, and either it's withheld or it's bad language. Oh, you're dumb. You're an idiot, blah, blah. And like that kid is wrecked for life, is blah, blah. And the other kid grew up in the same house and was like, that doesn't bother me. And they just kind of laugh about it.
That's what's crazy. What you just said is they grew up in the same house, and to one kid, they laugh at, the spankings we used to get, or, dad, mom used to say this thing, do this thing. And the other kid's traumatized. It's crazy.
And so it's like as parents, like for me, it's like I'm trying to even right now figure that out for my girl, because I'm like, I'm so conscious of it. Of course, they're going to have some, like you said in a previous episode, you said like the father wound or whatever. I think it's a parent wound, really. You're going to have something somewhere. But I'm like, man, I really don't want it to be this. I really don't want it to be this thing. So it's interesting. And it's a reminder for me even to look at them as individuals, because I tend to go out of what I didn't have. So I'm like, okay, I want to spend all the time with them, and I want to make sure that they know that I'm present, and blah, blah, blah. And they're probably like, Mom, get away. Like my 3.5-year-old the other day, we just made her a playroom. We redid one of our rooms to be a playroom. And I walk in there because I was cooking, and I come in and she's like, Mom. I was like, yeah. She's like, I just want to be alone in my room right now. She's 3.5. And I was like, okay. Like, okay. Because normally she's always on top of me, like whatever, but she's like, I want to be alone in my room. And she was sitting in her little house because she has like a little house thing. And just, I was like, okay. And she's so much of her dad. She looks exactly like me, but she is her father. Like everything. And he's very introverted and blah, blah, blah. And she gets worn out by people and like same. And so it's interesting as I'm looking at her, I'm like, oh, her love language is probably going to be something different growing up. It's probably not going to be, you know, all the time together kind of thing. Yeah. So I'm curious to see how that shakes out.
It's always interesting looking at kids because I've shared with y'all before. In fact, in the last episode, I told y'all about Crash Out Carl, my son Miles. And he's so emotional both ways, right? Like anything can get him upset. But also he's so soft and sweet that he'll literally walk up to you and just say cuddles. And there was this other day, he came over to he was in the playroom. Of course, we have like a baby gate. So he comes up to it and he's whining a little bit. And Silvana, my wife, is like, you know, what do you want, buddy? Like, what's going on? What do you need? And he's just like, just kind of whining. He's like, cuddles, just barely getting it through. Then Silvana was like, you want cuddles? And she was like, ask daddy. And he just looks up at me and clear as day says, cuddle daddy. And I was like,
nice, man.
I can't say no to that.
Yeah,
so I walked in the playroom, I picked him up and I'm holding him, you know. And Brooklyn at his age was like, put me down, leave me alone, let me play. Like, you know, and so it's just interesting to think that like maybe, you know, that physical touch is going to be a huge part of his, you know, love language. Or maybe it'll be the thing
so filled up that he won't need it.
It's just crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
And then your kids will change too. Like, you know, like I'm a parent of teenage kids all of a sudden, you know. I don't know how I've grown up so fast, but you know, the kids that used to come and love that daddy hug are now like the teenage girls who don't want to go anywhere near you. And that's okay. But, you know, you just got to find different ways to love, man. And, you know, sometimes you just got to read the room as well and go, hey, you know, this is the wrong moment to be talking, you know.
How many kids do you have, Steve?
3.
That's awesome.
3.
3 girls?
No. 2. So I've got 2 girls who are 19 and 17.
Okay.
And a son who's just turned 13.
Wow.
So what I'm hearing, you're ahead of us. What I'm hearing is I can call you in the next 10 years and be like, what's going on? How do I do this?
Mate, I can assure you blink and they go from about that big to that big. You know, it's crazy.
Wow.
I don't think I have promoted. I haven't got to a level of parenting that I'm able to give anybody else advice. I think we're still so figuring this out, and I'm sure it'll just be
Well, you said something that I think is really important about how like it'll change, and like with our kids it changes, but it also changes with our spouse. And like sometimes we make things like super awkward because we don't want to have like intentional conversations because they are not romantic. It's not romantic to have an intentional conversation or a planned conversation. But it's so good to have these check-ins and be like, hey, has stuff changed? So like I have communicated to my husband, hey, quality time is not my thing anymore. Like I need words of affirmation. So he knows that because we check in. And similarly, his love language used to be words of affirmation. And now it's quality time.
Wow.
And quality time used to be his 5th one. It was like all the way on the bottom. Like I remember, it's funny, I remember him being like, why do you want to spend more time together? We're together all the time. Like we're sitting next to each other. And I'm like, I know, but I just don't feel like close, you know, like, you know, and like I find myself saying that now. And he's like, well, I just want more time. And I'm like, how did we just literally invert here,
crazy.
You know? The funny thing though, I say that words of affirmation are my love language, but only from my husband. I don't particularly like them from anyone else.
So that's the way I am with physical touch. I told you guys earlier how like if it's too long, she doesn't put her hand on my shoulder. You know, so I'm like, what's wrong? But actually, I'm the opposite with everyone else. You know, I'm not like weirded out or icked out or any of that. It's just like I don't care. Now, to all my people at church, I love giving y'all hugs. I'll do that every week. I love it. But you know, aside from the people that I regularly see, regularly love and whatnot, like to be honest with you. This is going to sound terrible, but I'm just going to be honest. I rarely hug anybody in the office. Right? Like I see you every day. Like, you know, we're good. Love you, whatever. People I see once a week at church, I'm hugging them every week. People I see every day, I'm like, meh. But to my wife, touch me every day. Like hold my hand, do something. But it's weird. It's weird.
So
settings, seasons of life, the person who it is, it just all kind of changes. Now, I just realized what we didn't do we read them all, but we didn't give any descriptions of any of them. So
Yeah.
we should probably do that.
Okay. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, let's just go with words of affirmation.
Okay. So words of affirmation is really all about noticing that someone is doing something well and then affirming that thing that they're doing. So it's not empty praises, right? It's not like, oh, you're so good job, clap, clap, clap all the time, and then it just feels like nothing. But it's like, really, I took time to notice something that you did. And so here is your affirmation. That was a really great thought. I see how you're thinking about that. It's you did an amazing job with this. Or I see how you went through something so hard, and like, look at you're coming through it. Like specific intentional language. That's words of affirmation.
Yeah. And something you mentioned there, that it's not empty.
Yeah.
Which for some of you, it's going to take work to mean that, to not feel like you're just placating, but to be like, no, I actually mean it's awesome that you tried this thing, even if it failed, right? Like I see you trying there.
The other thing, probably just to be careful about, if you're going to, I think words of affirmation are really, really good, but just don't make it a corrective measure. You know how you can sort of go, oh, you did this really, really well, but then we tend to sort of want to fix people and just add on the whole. But next time, just and you just got to just shut up sometimes and say, hey, just keep the words of affirmation and keep that the central part. Let that feeling well up.
That's good.
Inside them. Yeah. And don't. We just so. We're so quick to judge, man. We're so quick to, offer an opinion, and sometimes you just got to sit with it and just let's just be the people who give. That's that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Gifts.
So gifts is what it sounds like. It's giving a gift. But again, it's not, I think behind all of this is intentionality, right? So it's not just that
I thought behind all of it was food.
Food is on top of everything.
Right. Okay, yeah.
It's
the step above love language.
It's above. It's just in its own stratosphere. But gifts it's the intentional giving of something. So I've gone out somewhere, something reminds me of them, and so I'm going to give it. It doesn't have to be an elaborate gift. In fact, it should be something that is specific to them, and so that makes it a good kind of gift. Some people are really thoughtful. This is my lowest one for the life of me. Like, just no.
I'll never forget, and I might have told this story on this podcast somewhere in season 1. I'll never forget, I was at the church I was at before this one. I was out riding with the pastor. We were going to go see some elderly people, shut-ins, and we were riding on this one back road, and I saw this beautiful patch of like just wildflowers that had grown up, and I was like, looking around, noting like, where are we? Like, oh, I'm gonna get these flowers. Tell Silvana I saw them and I thought of her, and get off of work, and we were in the church van, so it wasn't like I could just like stop, and he was driving. So we get all the way back to the church. I get off work. I drive all the way back to that spot, jump out. I'm in the ditch. I pull out my pocket knife. I'm cutting these flowers and getting them all together. I get home and I'm like, hey, I was out today. Thought of you when I saw these. She was like, thank you. That's really sweet. And kind of put them in the vase. And I'm like, what? And it took me a while to realize that's not her love language, right? Like that's not the one. But it's exactly what you said. I love that it doesn't have to cost any money.
Yeah.
Right. It's literally, I saw this, I thought of you. Here you go.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to mention quite seriously is that attached to all of these, like, it's all made better with food. So had you brought her the flowers and food,
French fries, that's her food.
There you go.
So if it was flowers and French fries,
then you cover all the bases.
That would have got the reaction I wanted.
Yeah.
Man, next one, acts of service. I kind of mentioned this earlier. It's kind of the don't just tell me, show me kind of thing.
Yeah.
To that person, if you keep saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, but you never like do the thing that they're asking you to do, hey, men, if she's asking you to take the trash out, like, hey, I would really love it if you did this thing, and you never take the trash out, it's hard for her to accept, I love you, when you won't even do the simple thing to, ease my world.
Yeah.
Physical touch. Who wants to hop in on that one?
Well, we kind of talked about that one.
We kind of talked about that one.
Yeah.
It's not about sexual intimacy. It's more about the connection of touching one another. And then obviously all of these, which we haven't done this for the other ones, but I'll just say it here because you mentioned it earlier. But all of these have they can be weaponized.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the way we said, words of affirmation can also be a weapon against someone who that's the way they need to be loved. And if you're calling them names, whatever, same thing, physical touch. My dad actually
you can do them for all the wrong reasons. Yeah.
What was that?
You can do them for all the wrong reasons.
Exactly. Yeah. My dad actually had a rule that he never spanked us with his hand because he was like, hands are for love. And so, he had a belt and he had, my mom used a wooden spoon. That was their things. They never abused us and never beat us, but they did spank us. But it was established. We don't use our hands because hands are for love. Hands are for physical touch. So you want to protect against that with all these love languages. And then quality time. Talked a little bit about that one too.
Yeah, we talked about that. Quality time is that spending good time with one another. It's not just sitting on a couch and you're on your phone and your spouse is on your phone. That's not quality time.
No.
But it could be that you're sitting on the couch watching a show together and pausing it to talk about the stuff that's going on, or you're going out on a date, or you're just going out to coffee with your friend that you haven't seen in forever and you're spending 2-3 hours there. That's the kind of thing that kind of fills you up. And so again, around that, then, you don't want to constantly be reminding somebody of how little time you have for them. Like that kind of smacks in the face of the quality time. Yeah. It's funny because my grandfather, his love language is very clearly of giving is gifts. He is a gift guy. Like the second you walk into his store, he's searching, what can I give you? And whoever, right? Like he's given my husband so many things trying to figure out the thing that is going to be the perfect gift. And it's because he likes my husband. So he wants to make sure he finds something, you know?
Yeah.
But the way he receives is quality time. Because you can give him, he has so much, he has so many things, but he loves quality time. And I've seen how it changes the way in which he engages with the people in the family. The people in the family that understand that his love language is quality time and spend time with him, he's a different person around. Versus the person who comes around and is constantly just trying to fix, change, rush through whatever. And they might be doing all the acts of service, but they're not wanting to spend the time. And so my grandfather and I have always bonded because we're both quality time people. So we've always spent a lot of time together. And even when I grew up, moved back to Jersey, we went to dinner every week, called him up after work, even though I had a long, crazy day at work and I've commuted 4 hours and all that. Nope, this is the day I'm going to go to dinner with my grandfather. And we just go out, have fun, have great food. This is where I get all my love of food from, by the way, from my grandfather. And it's just amazing. It made it so hard leaving then Jersey, right? Because that was our kind of routine. And so it's just interesting for us to be able to watch and it is an act of love and it's an act of service, not act of service here, but but any of these engaging in something outside of what your comfort zone is an act of service. And so even if you're with your spouse and you're like, well, my spouse doesn't do it for me, so I'm not going to do it for them. Like that is not the way to approach this at all. There has to be like a quiet, still voice when you pray that says, I want to serve my spouse. I want to serve and let me do it in this way. You know?
So something that's always, and I believe Dr. Gary Chapman mentions it in his book, that this idea of love languages is not just for romantic relationships. It's for families. It's for people in the workplace. And I always have to explain how it's not manipulative to look at someone that you work with and understand how they respond and how they receive love, right? If I am leading someone and I recognize that they need words of affirmation, you did a great job on that project. Thank you so much. Shout out to this person. Awesome. Like for the next person, that means nothing. If I've been doing great for the last 4 or 5 years, give me a raise, right? Like give me a gift, give me, and so it's not manipulative to know that. So on that note, you're a pastor currently. I know you had a career before this. I would love to pick your brain a little bit and see how you've seen that kind of come into play in either your career or in pastoring, how you've seen love languages and how much they help.
I don't know. I don't know if my previous work really work. My mind goes to like I hate talking about my wife from 10,500 and something miles away because I figured out how far I am from home today. But my wife's Amanda. She's amazing. I think her most natural love language is quality time. And isn't it interesting that I think. Like I was reading something last week that I think today's greatest thing that fights is the thing that just fights for our attention. And so quality time essentially is going, you know what, I'm going to stop thinking about all the other things in the world that seek my attention and give it instead. And I guess the interesting part of this is I'm probably an active service person in how I give. I like washing up, and I like putting the bins out, and I like doing that sort of stuff. And I like the words of affirmation and the pat on the back and the encouragement you get from actually doing those things when it's noticed, you know.
It's received, yeah.
But I've actually got to learn at some point, the greatest gift I can give, Amanda, is that time, is that attention, with nothing else on the road, with nothing. Yeah. And I guess the difficult thing about life, and maybe this is where my previous role as a police officer and detective and everything else, you're always short of time. You're always short of energy. You've always expended a lot of emotional attention on a lot of other people. But you've got to, on that way home, I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I've got to be even better at home almost than I am at work.
Yeah.
And I've got to go home with the same intentionality, maybe even when I'm empty sometimes, and go, I've still got to give.
That's good.
I can't be one person at work and they get all my attention, and then I can't give attention when I get home.
Yeah.
I've got to have time at home.
Yeah.
And so maybe this is where my pastor's hat comes on, and I think Pastor Dave said it yesterday. Yeah, you can only give what you've got, which is why you got to drink of Jesus. You know, Jesus has got to so fill the cup and fill who you are that you can't help but give, and that's hard, man. You know, when you haven't slept enough, you've been given too much. There's too many other demands. There's all the other things that need my attention, and I've still got to show up and give.
Yeah.
It's hard, man.
It's
hard.
I was gonna say that's a wild question of who gets the best of me.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just said something. Sometimes on the ride home, you've got to get yourself in that mental space. Heard this story of this guy. I think I might have told this story on season 1 too. I don't know. We're gonna tell it again. This guy who had some kind of plant or tree or something right outside his front door, and he invited someone over for dinner, and the friend noticed that he would stop and like kind of touch this branch or whatever, and he's like, what are you doing? And he was like, this is a reminder to like let whatever I'm carrying leave me. And like, this is my kind of drain plant or whatever you want to call it. He's like, I would touch this branch and it reminds me, leave it here at the door. Right.
Nice.
And it's just such a beautiful picture to remember. Like you said, you got to get right, because they have to get the best of me.
Yeah.
My house, my wife, my kids, they should get the best of me.
It's funny because I kind of feel like, were you in our house yesterday? Because I literally came home after work yesterday and I had a conversation with my husband and essentially just apologized and was like, exactly what you mentioned, because this transition the last couple of months have been wild, and I'm also trying to wean my not a good idea to be in transition and wean a child. Don't do it. Anyway, so I haven't been sleeping well at all, and I've just been exhausted, right? And so I'm having these like really full days at work, but I love being here, so it's great, but it's a full day. And then because my girls are here, there's no transition. There's no like, okay, here's a 30-minute ride to go pick them up, and you can, it's like, no, it's like
5-minute walk.
It's not even 5 minutes, right? It's like 2 minutes at most, and most of the time I'm going right up until childcare closes. So it's like, there's no second to touch the plant and let it go. It's just boom to boom.
Nice.
And then we live close by, so the ride home is 5 minutes. You know what I mean? So there's no whatever. And then I go all night because my kid is not sleeping because she's nursing and so there's no time to like recover in this season. And I have just been cranky, like at home, like not at work, because I'm at work and God literally highlighted to me yesterday and came home and I was like, yo, I'm sorry, because at the end of the day, I want y'all to receive the best of me. Like you guys, yes, ministry is important and everything God is calling me to do is important and good. But I don't want that to be to the detriment of my home.
Yeah, that's right.
And regardless of how you're feeling and whatever the case may be, like I have been grumpy and I don't want that, And like we hugged and it was fine and everybody's understanding because we are just a really good team. And that's the thing. He didn't need that from me. He knows. But again, in my mind, it's like, you got to still serve at home too. And you know, and I don't want to be so gassed out in one place that I'm not giving in this other place, which is, I'm also called to steward my marriage and my children. Right. So I feel like you were in my house yesterday.
That actually segues perfectly into apology languages.
I was going to say, man. Oh, man.
Set it up. Let's set it up.
That's good. I couldn't have planned that any better.
Hey, man, and the reason that it works so well is because I know sharing that I you know, I was in a previous life the very driven detective who's always trying to outthink some criminal who's done something, and how am I going to prove this, and how am I going to do this, how am I going to get this result, how am I going to do this? You're always outcome driven, and that can sometimes be the default thing we sort of get to in life. You know, we just want outcomes, we just want results, and there's and it's important, right? But not to the detriment of the people who need you, you know, and so maybe the reason I can talk about that is that I'm also aware of how many times I've fallen short. You know, where my wife and my kids did not get the best of me, because my attention was elsewhere, you know, and
how many years were you a police?
Almost 15.
Wow.
Almost 15. So we got married one weekend. I started in the police the next, and we sort of then had this wild journey of how do we have kids and grow together as young marrieds and all that sort of, you know. A bit of a wild ride.
So you learned some life lessons.
Yeah, and also, look, man, I'm very blessed to be married to the most patient woman in the world. I probably come to the question of apology things with just with a great deal of the times that I got it wrong, you know, and I'm eternally grateful for my wife. I didn't come home, so you know, you sometimes just the emotions and what you see and stuff at work can just be, I'm just not in the right place to be here, and it's hard. That's sometimes how life goes.
Wow. Well, thank God for Amanda.
But also the grace of God to be able to go to be able to name the days where you know you're going to struggle, and you've just got to be able to say, hey, I'm not sure I'm in the right place, and sometimes just sitting down, talking about it, explaining where you are, is actually maybe a really good place to be.
Well, I mean, so we're talking about love, and 1 Corinthians 13, the very first characteristic there is patience, right? And so in all these things has to be clothed in patience and in kindness, and you know, there'll be moments where you recognize that my spouse is not in a good place, they're grumpy, or they're not completely here, you know, whatever, and you got to show the patience and kindness. Or your spouse might come to you and say, hey, look, I'm in a really bad place, and the answer isn't, we'll get it together. The answer is patience and kindness and trying to figure that thing out. Man, that's so good.
I thought it was really great what you said before. Yeah, you and your husband have had a whole bunch of stuff on the go, and you've just got to carve out that little bit of time, almost not as an apology, but just to be able to hear one another again. And I've just got to sit down, give you my attention, invest, listen, and that's actually those things that actually build the foundation where you can actually own your mistakes, and you can receive critique. Sometimes you got to hear that, man. You know, and
it takes a commitment, though, even in that of like, because I am someone that likes to be right, and so like even that, to be able to like, I have to decide in that moment, like, is it more worth me being right or me taking the time to admit that I was wrong, right? And like try to justify, well, I'm doing all this great work, and blah, blah, blah. Which, to be honest, that's what my flesh wants to do. Like, I want to be like, I'm doing important work, though. I'm Nehemiah. I'm doing, whatever. I don't want to come down. But but I was wrong, right? At the end of the day, you know, we're both like operating at really high capacities on little sleep. We're both dealing with baby who's struggling at night, right? So for me to come in and be like, okay, I got to do, and like, I didn't do it. I just had to tell you, to be honest, because I don't want to make myself seem like I'm all so spiritual that I didn't do it like, yay, I'm so excited to go home and be like, I was wrong. No, I was like in the car, I'm like, dang, I got to have this conversation, you know? But like, granted, for it to be met well is such a gift, right? Because again, you could have a partner who then takes advantage of that space, right? Well, you could be the partner that, you know, takes advantage of how kind your partner is, and you keep doing the thing, you know, you say sorry, but there's no change. And so like, I think it's really important that we both, on both sides, there's this commitment to growth over like the being right, you know, and that's going to be messy, and that's okay, but keep trying to get at that, you know?
I had a friend tell me years ago, he's like, bro, when it comes to being married, being right is overrated. He was like, you've got to, you know, like I said, clothe it in patience and kindness and understanding and growth, as you were saying. Okay, so let's get these apology languages. And based on everything we just said, y'all are proving my point from earlier. Let me just say.
Well, no, because I have a hole in your point from earlier.
Okay.
So
right,
I'm going to prove that these are not necessarily always connected, even though they can be.
All right, let's get to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have fun with it. Okay, first one, expressing regret. And that's just the simple, I'm sorry. Like I'm genuinely sorry, and making sure they feel that, understand that, and believe that, right? Okay, I was about to say something, but we'll just keep going with the definitions. Accepting responsibility is the next one I got. And that's the I was wrong. Right?
You gotta own it, man.
Yeah, you both kind of mentioned that. You gotta own it. Like, this is on me. It's not that I was wrong, but
that's it.
I was wrong.
I was wrong. No excuse. I'm wrong.
Third one, making restitution. And that's the, what do I need to do to make this right again? You know, I know I dropped the ball here and I can't pick this ball up, but what can we do moving forward to like make this thing right? Fourth one is repentance, which is I'm going to change. And then fifth one is requesting forgiveness. Hey, I recognize that I did wrong. I recognize all these things. Will you forgive me? Right? Okay. You want me to go, or you want to go?
No, go, because you have the bone to pick. I don't have a bone.
Yes. So I think these almost go in order. Well, the middle three can be changed, but the first one of expressing regret has to be there. And the last one of requesting forgiveness, I'm not going to say has to be there, probably should be there. Now, I understand that the purpose of these is to speak the apology language of your partner, right? I understand that. But expressing regret, that I'm sorry, in my opinion, needs to be there for any part of an apology. You need to be able to express. Now, why would, for the second one, accepting responsibility, how could you be sorry without expressing that you're accepting the responsibility? I don't understand how that one can be disconnected or pulled out.
You haven't had enough conversations with folks. Because I see it all the time.
No. I'm not saying what people do. I'm saying for an actual apology.
Okay.
Right? So correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But it sounds like the apology languages is one of these things, speak to your partner to express that you're apologetic.
With both of this, so cut out apology or love just in general. Language is always a way to communicate with others. So it requires a back and forth, right? So there it is both the giving and the receiving that makes something communication, that makes it language or whatever. So for this, it's not just, okay, this is how I give to my partner, but it's also how I receive an apology. What makes it's easier to
Understood.
Yeah.
But okay, say I'm the offending partner.
Yes.
Right? So I don't need to receive an apology here. I need to give an apology. That being said, I have to express regret. I regret what I did. I don't see in an actual apology after expressing regret, well, what do you regret? I've got to accept responsibility.
Right. But if your partner doesn't require all of that, that's what it's getting at. So for you, an apology, you're laying out that this is what an apology looks like to me. So the person, whoever I'm giving it, needs all of these things. Where the person that's receiving might say, like, I actually don't need all of those things that you're giving me. I just needed the one.
So my one, if I had to say, so on this one, I guess I'm the divergent one.
Okay.
On the love languages, I'm pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
For this one,
you want all of it.
I need the repentance. That's the one where it's like, it goes with the acts of service. Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah.
The other ones I feel like are just natural. But that's just to me. I feel like it should be natural when I'm apologizing to express regret, accept that it was my fault. You know, how can I make this right? I'm neither here nor there with that one.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it all, hey, I need to know we're good. Like, do you forgive me?
It might depend on the circumstances too. I mean, there's some cases where maybe you've really stepped over a line and you've really got to own something, and you've really got to, you can't just go, you know, oh, I'm sorry, will you forgive me? Move on. You've actually got to just sort of sit there and go, I know I've hurt somebody. I know I've taken a step. I know I've taken it a step too far in this area. It wasn't intended to be that. It was received like that. I've just got to sit here and own it, you know. And other times where you're just going to be able to go, hey, look, I hold pretty high standards for myself. I didn't meet them with that interaction with you. I'm sorry, and that's enough said. And maybe the difficulty in these things is knowing the right words to say and the speed at which you've got to. Some things need to be sat with and dealt with over a period. Some things can just be said, hey, I own this. I fell short. I'm sorry. You know, and the nuance is trying to figure out the right speed at which you've got to move. You know, and it's hard.
Yeah. I think for me, so what happens is I'm gonna give a personal kind of thing, and then I'm gonna go out. Okay.
Yeah.
But so in the personal, so if I'm looking at these, for me, I'm definitely, in terms of an apology, if someone's giving me an apology, I'm looking for accepting responsibility. What I did was wrong, and I need them to understand that what you did was wrong. If someone can get there, I can forgive pretty much anything. Like, if I understand that this person understands that this was wrong, I'm okay for the most part. And of course, like, I'm sorry I was wrong is fine. I pretty much don't hear anything if you're trying to apologize and you try to give me a reason or an excuse. I cut off. It's not the time. And maybe later when we're having a conversation, you can kind of come back and be like, hey, you know, I just want to tell you what was going on in my life and blah, blah, blah. But if you've really hurt me and you're saying, I'm really sorry, you know, I was wrong, but, you know, it was just that I stopped hearing. And to your face, I'll be like, okay, thank you. But like in my heart, I'll feel like it's not really received, because I feel like you spent most of the time in your apology trying to justify yourself and clear yourself as opposed to being concerned about me. And so that's kind of where I'm like, okay, I think.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
This just draws a question. Is there a sixth one here? Is that ever appropriate?
Food. Food?
Sure. I'm with you there. Is there a seventh one here? Is that ever appropriate? The explanation of what happened, right? Because that's a whole different kind of apology.
Yeah. I think for me, here's the thing, and this is why I say I'm going super personal here. In my perfect world, someone does something wrong and they say, hey, Max, can we talk? I just want to say that I was wrong. I crossed the line here and I didn't think about how you would have felt in this situation. I'm really sorry. If you want, I can kind of give you some of the reasons behind it, but I just need you to know that I was wrong. And then that leaves it on me to know, okay, I heard your explanation. You're not trying to clear your name, but you have reasons. And I'll say this. I think the part of this is because it takes a lot to get me upset in the first place, number one. And two, I have already thought about every single reason why you would have done the thing you've done. It's just the way my brain works, right? I turn people, things, decisions. I'm a motive person. I'm always thinking about motives and da-da-da. So you coming back to me and wasting this interaction with your excuse or your justification, I've already done it. So I don't need that part of it. But you can tell me like, hey, I have been thinking about this. And if at another time you ever want to hear it, I'm here. That to me is a full thing of responsibility. And 9 out of 10, I don't even need to know why, because it's forgiven. And I am really that black and white. Like, I have gone through some tough situations with folks, and it's just been very just like, I know that they feel bad and that they're wrong, and they've been able to articulate that. Okay, cool. We're back to being besties the next day. It's not a big deal. But there's people in my life who have not done that. And so the the relationship can't be there because I can't trust that you understand that you crossed the line.
Yeah.
And so if I can't trust that, then you no longer have access to my inner space. We can still be cordial, but you're not coming back in here.
So I think that's the universal thing of these different languages, is like being able to trust that they acknowledge what was wrong. For some people, they need those words. I was wrong, right? For me, it's the repentance piece of like actually changing.
Yeah.
Because whether or not you ever say it, and maybe this is just the caveman in me that's like, well, we don't have to say the words, you know? But like, if I see the change, then I can trust that you get it.
Yeah.
Like you get why I was upset, or you get why that was a crossing of the line. If I see the repentance happen, I'm good.
Yeah, I think so. Here's where I'll concede to you. I'll connect with you. Is that I think they're expressing the regret needs to go with all of them, right? So I'm sorry, and then plus one of the other four.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'm thinking about another situation. I'm taking it bigger than just like a personal thing, but I'm thinking about like fallen pastors. That's where my brain is going right now, and the types of apologies that we've seen come out. And what is, for me personally, feels effective and what I don't take as, right? So I've seen a pastor who we will not name go on 89 apology tours in their career. Right? Always with wife by the side. Oh gosh, I had another transgression. Wife's on stage singing, I'm so sorry, I'm broken, I had a transgression. I'm sorry, I had a transgression. 89 times later, we're still having the same transgression. You have said, I'm sorry. But where is the repentance? Where is the changed heart? There's no action. There's no, I was just wrong. It's always, I was wrong, but I have an addiction. I was wrong, but God's grace covers me. I was wrong, but blah, blah, blah. And so for me, I look at that and I'm like, well, that's not an apology at all.
Yeah.
That's a PR move that you're whatever. That gets under my skin. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Think about another pastor who their kind of route to this is, I will only apologize after I've been caught. And so I will release a statement, right, saying this such and such happened, but it happened such a long time ago and I've already dealt with it. And so, but it's coming to light now. And so now the people that have been, right? And so, but my apology is just that.
Yeah.
That gets under my skin as well. Yeah. Because you have a responsibility. Even though that thing that you did was a long time ago back then, it's coming out now. So you almost have to deal with it again.
Yeah.
Right? And so to me, again, I'm coming back to accepting full responsibility. If I don't see that, even if you changed your life, you've repented allegedly, but the way in which you react to people hearing the thing again is what gets me. Then you have the last example, the pastor who did something really wrong, got caught publicly, apologized in all the channels that needed to be apologized in, went away, stepped down from ministry, took the time to get right, heal, do all this stuff, comes back, says, I'm sorry, and says, hey, here's what's going on. Now I'm giving you the story. And you're going to see, because my family is still with me after this, okay, I can trust that person again. Even though they did the same thing that the other person did here, I'm seeing that there has been this acceptance of responsibility and the change and the acknowledgement and no excuse. I did this. It was wrong. Are you interested in how I got here? I'll tell you so that you don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I'm still stuck on, I think a well-rounded apology is hitting all of these, even though talking to your husband, talking to your wife, talking to, that person, you should know what they're, like, for instance, I said, the one that I need is the repentance. So like, if you're apologizing to me, you should know, like, that's what I need above all. But I think a well-rounded apology is all these things.
Well, I'll challenge you, because I feel the same way about the love languages. Like, a well-rounded love is all of these things.
That's fair. That is fair.
So like, yeah, gifts is like low on my thing, but you better believe I still want a gift every now and then. You know, like, maybe I don't need physical touch all the time, but I need some physical touch. Maybe I don't need words of affirmation. So like,
okay.
All
right, I'm with you.
But you still have a preference for something. And there's one of these here that somebody will come, and this is the real idea behind the apology language that I think I wanted to stress specifically, is that sometimes we're communicating I'm sorry in a way that's not being received.
Yes.
And then we get defensive about it. And then we get like, well, I don't know what else you want me to say. I said I'm sorry.
What else can you do?
What else can I say? I can't change the past. What's done is done.
So if I'm stuck on the repentance piece and I'm like, I don't have to say the words, you know, but she needs me to say the words, that's where we get the miscommunication.
Or some of us grew up in households or, you know, we are like that ourselves where, you know, we don't say I'm sorry. We kind of just get over it.
Yeah.
Let's just go out to eat. Right. Which does work for me. But, you know, but like, yeah, like, you know, let's just go out to eat or you know, you see this a lot with men who are abusive. And so they never come home and really say, I'm sorry, but they come home with a gift. And so we're over it. Right. And so.
Yeah. I mean, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get in some trouble, but I'm going to do it. It's a big one in the Black community too, of like parents.
I mean, I was going to go there too. So,
right?
Yeah.
It's after they've blown up or reacted, did something, they'll come and find you and say, come get some dinner.
Come get some dinner.
It's like, bro, what? Like what just happened? And we are growing up in that atmosphere, and then we duplicate it. You know, we don't see the need for spoken apologies. I will say I grew up in a household where my parents did talk. I've shared this on multiple times. They were far from perfect, but there were moments where I can remember both my mother and my father admitting I was wrong. And that shaped me. I hate to admit that I'm wrong. Hate it with a passion. So much so that I'm so careful with my words. Because I don't want to have to come back later and be like, hey, I said that thing I shouldn't have said. More these days, it's just a matter of how I said it. You know, hey, my tone wasn't very loving, or my wife told me in the beginning of our marriage, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Crazy thing is, my parents told me that growing up. Theo, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. And so I'm so careful with my words. But yeah.
I remember my mom she, not often, but often enough that like I remember it. Like it's a core kind of memory and stuff because I guess, you know, when in middle school, we kind of ended up having to spend more time because she moved me from Jersey to Brooklyn and whatever. Long story short. But anyway, we had a lot of tension, you know, and I remember that sometimes she would write me letters and vice versa, and we'd like stick it in the fridge. And it would be like, you know, this is everything that's going on and I'm sorry. Like, you know, like, but we wouldn't be able to necessarily have the conversation face to face right away. And like, but that's okay. Like that it's something that worked. Right. And so like, I'm a writer, I like to write. And so like that worked for me, and she found a way that would work in that space to be able to communicate. And so I always remember that because I do want to be someone who is sensitive enough to try to apologize in the way that someone needs, particularly when I know I'm wrong. You know, and like, I could sit there and be like, well, what I did was enough. Right. I think this is part of I'm thinking about strongholds and stuff that get built up in families, kind of what you were talking about, because we don't want to talk about the thing. We don't want to really speak about it. And like, we don't understand the power there is in coming back and apologizing well. Like, we don't understand that will break chains in families, right? And I look at it and like, because as a child, you can have all the understanding. I have every understanding of why I grew up the way that I did. I have empathy for my mom. I have empathy for all of the things. I understand even how, you know what I mean? None of that understanding took the place of needing to hear her say I was wrong. And the reason that my mom and I have such a good relationship right now, despite everything else, is because she has been able to say I was wrong. And that went such a long way. You know what I mean? And then, you know, then I see in other areas, like there's some hardness that she has, you know, with my grandmother who's passed now and whatever, because they're so old school that they don't talk about them being wrong. They're just trying to move on. And it's a way. And I've had these conversations with my grandfather, who's amazing for me, great, best grandfather stuff, but there's some stuff, and he would just be like, it was a long time ago. You know, and it's like,
it's almost like it's just too hard to deal with. So
whatever. It's no use crying over spilled milk, you know, that kind of vibe. And I'm like, no, your children need to hear the thing and it'll break something.
Yeah.
And so, I think what we need to do moving into these generations is to be aware and to be able to say that, to be like, hey, I was wrong,
It's funny.
So,
sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's funny in a much lighter context. Brooklyn, she has been the talker since day one. Just never stopped. When she was a baby, it was babbling, and I remember saying to myself, like, oh man, I can't wait till she can talk so I can like know what's going on in that head of hers. And God heard my prayer because she never stops talking. But she is she catches on really quickly. And so it was, I don't even remember what the incident was, but Silvana said like, oh, I forgot. And Brooklyn recognized what that moment was. And now anytime anyone forgets something, she's like, Mommy, you forgot. Daddy, you forgot. Same thing happened with, oh, I guess I was wrong. And now she will point out, like when we like go back and say, oh, I didn't leave that there. Or like,
That's
we're saying it passively.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn will point out, Daddy, you were wrong. And the first time she said it, I was just kind of like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Then I, kind of like, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I was wrong, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And I knew that in that moment, even she's 4.5, you know what I mean? I knew that it would do something in her for her dad, who right now is, her superhero, quite literally big and strong, everything that she's aspiring to grow up to be someday. For her to see that dad will apologize and say he was wrong. You know? So even though it was something silly, I was just like, yeah, you know what? Daddy was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how big of an effect that will have prayerfully on her kids and their kids.
I want to say one thing before we jump into Am I Wrong with Tony, which is also if you're someone who overly apologizes all the time and is constantly like, you're saying sorry and you don't even need to be saying sorry, that is also something that you want to address and like kind of figure out the root of where that's coming from. I think for apologies to be genuine, you can't be apologizing all the time for every little thing. Okay, let's get into Am I Wrong?
One more thing.
Okay.
Also on the flip side of that, if you feel like you're requiring apologies all the time, look inward and figure out what's wrong there, because
everybody can't be offending you all the time.
Yes. Sorry, had to put that in there.
That's the whole victim thing. Yeah.
All right, hit us, Tony. What you got for us today?
I mean, I like all of you guys. I'd rather not hit you, but but okay. This is the Am I Wrong Though prompt for today. I found out my love language is quality time. I found out their love language is acts of service. Cool. Growth. We adapt. Then I found out my apology language is accountability and change, and theirs is vibes. Because apparently I hate that you feel that way. Can we not do this right now? And I already said sorry last week are considered full apologies where they come from. They'll cook dinner, they'll be extra nice, they'll send memes, but they will not say, I hurt you, I understand why, I won't do it again. So now I'm in this weird place where I'm eating a home-cooked meal, laughing politely, and thinking, this chicken is delicious, but my trust is still broken. Am I wrong, though, for thinking love languages don't matter much if apology languages never show up?
Ooh.
Man.
Wow. So the first thing that pops into my brain, and we don't know this, but whoever you are watching, would be to ask your partner if they are willing to learn about apology languages, because as I said, I just learned about it a couple weeks ago, and to hear, even though I believe a lot of them should go together, to hear that one person saying, I'm sorry, I was wrong, would mean nothing to the person who needs you to repent or ask for forgiveness. Or it's just like a piece of the puzzle. If you say, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and you walk away from the conversation and never say, will you forgive me? For some people, we're still not good yet, right? And that was just a click for me, right? It was a click for me. In fact, my wife's is, I'm 98% sure, is that I was wrong. She needs to hear you say it. And it's not to rub your nose in it. She just needs you to admit it, right? And so I would wonder if you know yours, but just because you know yours and you've done the research doesn't mean that they know theirs. And so if they are unwilling, they're unloving. Same thing with the love languages. If I'm unwilling to learn your love languages, and here's the thing, and you said this earlier, you talked about how you know that Phil loved you, right? And you didn't say it this way, but compared to how Phil loves you now, he didn't love you as well back then.
Yeah.
You can have long-lasting marriages and all this kind of stuff where you're loved but not loved well, where you're apologized to but not apologized to well, right? And so if I'm unwilling to learn your love language, unwilling to learn your apology language, then I'm unloving. And so that would be my question, whoever you are, to ask them if they're willing to learn. And if it's still the same things, because for instance, in their mind, I apologized last week could be legitimate. I apologize for that thing, but they didn't ask for forgiveness, or they didn't ask for, that specific thing. So they really think they're communicating, I'm sorry, so I would just ask them if they're willing to learn. If they are not, I think you got your answer.
Yeah. And I guess the danger with this sort of stuff is you can over psychologize it all. Like on some level, you can sort of just go, well, I know all about the love languages. The other person should know how I feel and should be able, and I sort of like expect them to be able to say all the right things, all the right times.
Yes.
And I refuse to be able to acknowledge that I was wrong as well. And it's sometimes really, you can sometimes just spend a lot of time pointing fingers rather than actually growing up and going, is it possible that I'm sinful? Is it possible that there's a lot of work that God needs to do in me? And I've got to listen better, and I've got to love better, and I've got to respond better. But I've also got to give others some grace where they maybe don't understand this or see it the same way that I do. It's hard.
Wow.
Yeah, I think communication is key for all of this. But I think you're right. I think the temptation in this is to be like, I want to know all about my love language and my apology language, and now I expect everybody to do it for me. When really, I think the tool really is, how do we pour out? So it's helpful to know how we receive, for sure, because you want to be able to communicate your needs. But if your partner is not moving on those needs immediately, that does not change that you should still be doing it for them.
Yeah.
And you still provide for them. And I think then, right, okay, hey, can we talk about this? Can we talk about these love languages? I think it will really improve what I'm trying to say, right? And hopefully you've chosen well, right? Because if I always come back to the same thing. If you didn't choose right, none of these tools, none of these books, none of this stuff is going to help, because the person's going to be unwilling. But that has nothing to do with them not wanting to learn the love language. It's probably who they are. Right. And I'm sure that you're having issues in other areas as well. But if someone loves you, they are going to be willing to grow. If you're with someone who is not willing to grow, then there's other issues anyway. Right. So that's kind of where I would just caution. Okay. So we're going to just close up here with last thoughts or resources anyone has.
I'm going to steal the low hanging fruit. Dr. Gary Chapman's Love Languages. And I have yet to read this book. I got kind of the Cliff Notes version, but the apology languages, I'm way more interested since talking about it and whatnot, and figuring out what all's in there and the things that I might disagree with and the things that I think should be in there. For instance, I actually do agree with you that food should be on the apology list. Bring me food. That's a really good apology. Even though you still need to talk about it too. We talked about that.
But food makes most things better, right?
Yes, it's often. See, now you're coming back to my point about this one. Food is above all.
I didn't know that food was a love language. I really didn't. And
Jesus is the bread of life. He chose that metaphor
for
a reason.
Yep. That's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Dr. Gary Chapman, good resource. And then I got to do this because I'm a pastor, but the Bible teaches you about love, and it talks so much, man. I feel so bad now. I should have brought in some actual addresses for scripture, but it talks about forgiveness, and it talks about apologies. It talks about all these things. So yes, read your Bible. And then when you want to get into the psychology of it all, there's some really good resources out there as well.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts for you?
I was thinking about 1 John 1. If I think I'm without sin, I deceive myself. I'm a pretender. I'm not doing the right thing. And so I also just balance that with the same idea I said before about reading the room. Sometimes you've just got to look at the situation, people, other situations, and just go, oh, God, would you please give me the right words to say here? to capture the moment, to understand how my partner, my kids, that this person I'm speaking to, what do they need from me right now?
Yeah.
How best can I emulate? How best can I reflect you well?
Yeah.
How best can I love them well?
Good.
And that's sometimes really, really hard to do, you know. So I'm no subject matter expert on this topic, you know.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I want to give a practical resource. If you have two partners who are willing, there is an app called the Love Nudge that's by the love languages or whatever. And so you and your partner both can download the app and you both take the test and it'll tell you what love language is, but it also helps you like pick out things that would fill up your love meter. So there's literally like a little love tank thing. And there's a bunch of different things that you can put in, or you can make up your own, and it'll nudge them. It'll send like a notification to like, you know, do one of the things that the love meter is low or whatever. So it's really corny, but it can also be like a cute thing to do every now and then if you're feeling like, oh, I just want to make something fun, something that we can connect with. And they can even like alert you like, hey, my love tank is low, like, you know, and again, don't weaponize it. Don't make it be like a thing. But if you can find a way to make it light and fun and cute, it's a cute way to go about having a practical something to remember. And I want to stress this, that I'm going to fight all day this notion that love is just spontaneous and romantic and blah, blah, blah. And so that having an app that reminds you to buy flowers is not good, because it should just be coming from your own mind and heart. No, schedule it.
Yeah.
Put reminders on your phone if you need to. Whatever it is that you've heard your spouse or your loved one say, make note of it and just put it on your calendar and do it.
Yep.
Like you don't have to tell me that you scheduled it.
Yeah.
But just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
That's a whole other episode. That right there. Just do it.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I want to thank you, Steve, for coming on here with us.
It's a pleasure.
It's a lot of
great.
fun.
It's great to be here.
And Maxine, as always, couldn't do
Happy
this
to be
without
here.
you. And for all of you out there, just thank you for sticking with us for 2 seasons. Those of you who are just now jumping in, I've said it before, go back to some of the old seasons, and you can even write us about some of those episodes that might be speaking to you. As always, contact us at
Between Sundays at newlife.live.
that place. Between Sundays at newlife.live. Let us know the things that are jumping out at you. Let us know some topics you might want us to cover. Write in for the Am I Wrong Though portion. We'd love to be able to speak to some of those. And like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Yep. Instagram, TikTok,
Reviews.
review, all that stuff.
Yeah. So take it easy. Have these conversations outside of here.